on now. Talk to me.
That's what's up.
Okay, y'all, listen. So today, I'm really looking forward to this conversation because it is I want to say, one of the hottest topics going on in the world right now. And that is what, my baby?
Tell her.
It is discussing, you ain't nothing for that, discussing sexual misconduct. Is it a witch hunt or whistleblowers? And we got to talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
Because today I saw on social media, I saw a video from our brother Tavis Smiley saying that he had been suspended from PBS.
Right.
Based on, I guess someone saying that he was inappropriate. And when he said, I don't even know who my accusers are. They've just said, someone has said or people have said. And when you look at that, now I know Tavis. And you never know right, wrong, or indifferent.
Right.
But just the guy I know,
right.
Beautiful human being.
Right.
And when he says, out of all the years I've ever done this, I've never been inappropriate with anyone. And then you have people coming out that has worked with him and have said, never has this man been inappropriate. So you have to ask the question now, what's really going on? Is it whistleblowers? Is it witch hunts?
Because if I'm not mistaken, because I didn't get an opportunity to see it, you can confirm it, that he was saying that he had not faced or did not know who his accuser was.
Right.
It's one of those things where in the midst of trying to do the right thing, I think that sometimes the potential of folks being overzealous can take a part amongst other things. But if you're not able to face your accuser and or know who did it and you're let go, well, now that seems kind of like, the witch hunt. It's like the Salem witch hunt, if you will, where, someone's just accusing you of being a witch. There's no proof. You've not had anything. They just said, and someone else might accuse you, and I believe, and now all of a sudden. So for a person whose demeanor, and again, like you said, you don't know until you know, but when someone doesn't seem to fit that way of being, their energy, and then they're let go, where the majority of people, for the most part, have at least been able to recount the instances that could have at least been misconstrued. He seems to sound like he's in a quandary because he can't picture that moment where somebody could be making an accusation in reference to where he had been inappropriate.
And I've been hearing a lot of when women are saying, just people, men and women are saying, if a woman says it, believe her. If she says it, believe her. And this is coming from a person that was molested, that was raped. I don't know if that's necessarily fair. Like, I don't know if that's fair to say automatically if a woman to say, do we at least have the conversation? Do we at least say, wait a minute, y'all, can you tell us the situation? Can you tell us what happened? Because in some of the cases, these women are saying, this is what happened, this is the date, this is the moment, this is what I had on. You got to hear that all the way out.
And just from a standpoint of the old adage of, well, we say old adage, but it's something that we say, and that is, you will succumb to what you support. So if you are in a situation where you are part of a group that is taking someone down, but you don't have enough information, what that can also lead to is individuals who you or someone may have a vendetta against to make an assertion about them, and it's not substantiated. And as a person who would be imposing these charges and then responsible for letting that individual go, there's a level of uncomfortability that they should have, because if you're in a position of a higher up, if you will, that makes you in a target potentially to have the same thing done to you. So there's a level of comfortability, because again, we're at a stage with everything coming out to the degree where parameters are going to need to be set.
Come on.
There's going to be some protocols that need to be set. And one of the protocols that need to be set, because it is a difficult conversation, is stop allowing the person who has been violated to be fearful. Put them in a position to feel comfortable saying what it is that they need to say, because if you're going to make an accusation about a person, you need to say everything clear cut, so that if you talk long enough and you're lying, there are going to be too many things that you're going to miss that can be substantiated or won't be corroborated with your story. So let that person lay it out, but they must come out against the person. You cannot hide anymore. You must say, because we know what it is to be in a situation where, people can say that you are a certain way and you don't know where it's coming from. You can't face your accuser. And even sometimes when people make accusations, let's say a Lee Daniels, you never have gotten a chance to speak directly to him.
Right.
Because had you got an opportunity, or if you got the opportunity, the world would get a chance to see the story change before their eyes. And for those who don't understand the bullying tactics that Hollywood uses to impose their will on actors, if you got a chance to have that discussion against someone who accused you of being difficult, then the world would be able to fully grasp that. How is a woman difficult for not promoting a movie for a Lionsgate, and Lionsgate had no contract with Monique. Monique's contract was with Lee Daniels, to whom she promoted the movie for. It's as if you're trying to sell a person's contract off to someone else without making a deal.
They passed me up like I was a bill.
Okay, now you're a law. Okay,
I'm just a bill. I'm only a... Okay, baby, it hit me in my spirit.
That is,
Shit.
that
Y'all,
is.
we're talking about it. We are discussing sexual misconduct. Is it a witch hunt or is it whistleblowers? And I think it may be a little bit of both. I think it may be a little bit of both. And let me just say this too. And I want to talk to the women. And just everybody, but to the women. We have to be careful on what's good on Monday may not be good on Tuesday.
Well.
We got to be careful that if on Monday I let you touch my titties.
Oh.
Now on Tuesday, when you touch my titties, it's a problem.
Oh, wait a minute.
Now on Wednesday, when nobody's looking,
come on,
I touch your dick.
Now.
Okay, now on Thursday, because there's mixed messages.
And the messages are mixed.
And the messages are mixed. And the moment a woman says, you've been inappropriate. Okay, well, did the inappropriate things just start? Have we been inappropriate with one another? Did somebody see the inappropriate shit happening and now I don't want my character in question? So now I'm going to say you've been assaulted me or you've offended me? So when we start talking about this sexual misconduct, we really have to dig into those conversations and not just be so willing to take the word.
And when someone is making an accusation against someone else and they know that they are right, they don't want you to take their word. They want you to investigate it, because to take their word is not the same as once the epiphany of what they're saying is true and you've done your own research to find that out. So they don't want you to do that. And while we're here, share your opinions with us. Feel free, call on that 404-832-2963. The reason why you were saying what you were just saying,
yes,
though, you've had an experience with women,
yes,
or a woman who cried about sexual misconduct that was inaccurate. Why don't you tell the folks about it?
You know, I was doing a television show. That's funny, right? Doing a television show. And on this television show, there were two people, a man and a woman, whom both were married, not to one another. They had other spouses, okay? Now, I used to see them touch and play with one another. I felt like everybody's adults. That ain't my business. Y'all handling y'all business. Y'all do what y'all want to do. And this went on for some time while we were filming. Till one day, the woman's husband came to the set. And the woman was in the back with the guy. Well, they were doing what they did. Well, somebody walked in on it. And they said, oh my God, I see this guy being inappropriate with this woman. Instead of the woman saying, no, baby, that's not what you really seeing. What you seeing is two grown people playing with one another.
Inappropriately.
Inappropriately.
For work,
Okay.
But we cool with it.
She jumped on the side who walked in on it and said, oh my God, you've assaulted me. I've been touched inappropriately, because her husband was there. Now the husband gets upset and makes this, rightfully so, makes a scene. Now I know both of them, the husband and the wife. Now the man that's being accused, been in the business a long time and a sweet guy, okay? Really good brother. So when I'm watching this elevate, and now I'm watching this go to all the top levels, and this guy's getting ready to lose his job for sexual harassment, and he was inappropriate, I had to call that woman's husband. And I had to say, I need you to get your wife on the phone. Because what I can't do is stand by and watch this man lose his livelihood over something that your wife just can't be honest with you about. I saw them touching and feeling. I saw them bumping and grinding.
Touch it.
I saw them. I don't see nothing wrong.
Come on now.
Oh, with a little bump and grind. I saw all of that shit happen. So what I had to do is say to her husband and to her, I need y'all to call them tomorrow morning and shut this shit down. Because what I cannot do is sit back. Even though I've been knowing them far longer, years. It's like, y'all, we know this is not right. And I cannot allow this to happen to that man. So in that situation, I was there and I saw it. And I saw how that woman was going to let that man lose his livelihood because she just couldn't own up to, I was playing a touchy-feely game too.
I was playing a touchy-feely too. And what happens is somebody would say, but Mo, how could you do that if you know them over here longer than you know them? Even though what she was doing was wrong, how could you say to them, I'm going to speak up and let them know what I had seen? And the reason is because Wright has been around longer than all of us and all of them. So what happens is it ain't never an easy conversation to have, but what you did is what you did. And when you become an adult, you need to be able to say why you did what it was that you did.
Yes.
Because as we tell our children, when you get to be an adult, it looks strange when someone asks you, why did you do what you did? And you say, I don't know. That shit might work when you are 5. I don't know. Be 35 on a job and they say, Crystal, why did you put the paperwork in the shredder and it was supposed to be saved? They are not going to accept a shoulder shrug and I don't know. So you got to have answers. You know what I'm saying?
I'm laughing because sometimes I be trying to pull that shit at home. I don't know why I did it.
Right. You got to know why this man has grabbed you in the vagina. And the answer is because I grabbed him on his penis.
Oh.
That's what, but I let you say it. Every once in a while I say it dirty.
But Daddy,
but it ain't dirty.
Like
but I like
words.
it. Oh yeah. Okay. So it's like at the end of the day, we sometimes put women in a position where they've got to be on this pedestal where, listen, if you want to touch this man's ass at work and he's okay with it, okay, just don't let the boss see you, okay? Don't let them see you do it if that's what y'all feel. But if somebody see you do it, don't act like that ain't what you do. And now he got to go directly to jail. He can't pass go. He don't get his $200.
Come on.
Don't do it.
See, and I think too that this is a conversation that has to be had and had out loud, because are there people that fuck their way to get to the top of their positions, whatever it might be?
To the top.
To whatever it might be. May it be, shit, you working fast food to you running a Fortune 500. Are there people that said, if I suck your dick, can I become one of the partners of the company? Has that happened? Yes, it has. Has there been men and women where we didn't have no conversation, but subliminally we both knew, if I come to your hotel room at 2 o'clock this morning and we know there's a part up and it's real hot and everybody want it, but I show up at 2 o'clock, you know I got the part. Those are conversations that are not had, but we know that that's what goes down. So even with all that's going on right now, with all the exposure, and again, I must put this on there, coming from a woman that has been raped and molested. That is I. And when I had to speak it out loud, I had to speak it out loud. So I understand the women that are saying, listen, this is what happened to me. But I want us to understand there are some of us out there that we knew the fucking was going to take place. We knew that the dick was going to be put in our mouth. We knew it. And then we walked away and the deal was done. Now, years later, we're saying, oh shit, my character might be in question, because people might look at me and say, did you fuck your way to that position? I want to meet the woman or the man that says, yes, I did. And have no shame about it.
Right.
But I'll say, let's play fair.
Right.
Let's just be fair for the women and or the men that were raped, sexually assaulted. You said no. You did everything in your power to stop that. Whoever did that to you, take them to the mat.
Take them to the mat.
But for the ones, we went out, we had dinner, we had a couple drinks, and then you said, come on back to my room and give me a massage. I'm a grown-ass woman, Daddy.
And when you are a person of color, that is impactful in a different kind of way, because we know what it is to not read the deal all the way through. But because we didn't read the deal all the way through, that's why your mama said, read the fine print. If you don't read the deal all the way through and the deal didn't go the way you wanted it to go, then you know, as a person of color, you got to eat that. You got to eat that.
Come on.
So when you make a deal, and when you are watching individuals who, by the way, vast majority of these women happen to be Caucasian and happen to have climbed the proverbial rung, if you will, if not some of them knew what the deal was. And in retrospect, on a full stomach, they feel a little bit embarrassed about the way that they got it. And in all honesty, coming from a place of non-judgmentalness, what's the difference between the guy that busts his ass at a place for years and they do not compliment him, they do not reward them, they do not, and then all of a sudden one day, through all of the free shit that they have put out, one day they decide to throw him a bone and now you got a promotion. Well, you still gave of your ass. You just got nothing for it. This other individual said, well, what I'm going to do is give you some ass.
Come on.
Okay. And I want to get something immediately for it. Some would say that's wrong. Some would say that's right. Some would say everything in between. But whatever you say the truth of what it is. And once you say the truth of what it is, now you've stepped into the world of adulthood and maturity.
Come on.
Because kids don't own, and they say, back to take it home, I don't know why I did what I did. As opposed to, I know why I slept with him, because I wanted to have a better way. And what I'm not going to do is turn them in. Wow, you and your son are looking great today. That's funny. And at the end of the day, you say to yourself, listen, don't be embarrassed about what you did to get ahead, but don't lie about it either.
Come on. Come on.
If you're embarrassed, don't say nothing about it. Keep it moving. But don't take somebody down if y'all had an arrangement, despite the fact that that arrangement could be construed as inappropriate by those that are on the outside.
Right. Be considered inappropriate by those on the outside. So what we're saying is, just play it fair. Again, for the men and or women who have taken advantage and used and abused and raped and assaulted, you gotta go to the mat with it. But for the men and or women who simply, we had adult agreements and adult understandings, let it be just that. Adult agreements and adult understandings, and don't give a fuck about nobody's judgment. It's what it is, and it's what it was. So I think that when we don't have these conversations out loud, we can start crucifying whoever we want to. We can just go tomorrow and pick up a phone and say, you know what, this one did it.
This one did it.
This one did it. And here's where it gets really hilarious. You have women and men giving these allegations against people. You have a president saying, I grabs him in the pussy.
In it.
And I sticks my tongue in their mouth.
Yes.
You can do that when you're a star.
And
he became president. So there's something that's just not connecting or making sense. There's something that's saying, wait a minute, y'all, are we playing with two different rules? Oh, I forgot. Yes, of course we are.
Right. But the young kid who was interviewing him, he has no job. And Billy Bush. Now, he's a young kid. He has no job. All of these producers and so forth, they have no job. But we live in a world where the president was heard saying that. And we know, had President Barack Obama been heard saying that before he went into office, not only would he have not been elected president, they would have removed him to be in the Democratic, candidate.
Altogether.
They would have removed all of that.
Get him out of there.
Out of there.
And here's also, Daddy, where the racism, of course, comes in. And when people say, because I've been watching a lot now on the news, and how come we got to keep, it's always black and white? God damn it, because that's what this country is built off of. Like, why do we keep acting like that doesn't exist, or what y'all talking about?
Because, as an example, not to cut you off, my love, with your girl Omarosa, they're going to ask the black reporters about how did Omarosa get fired, like she's not a person. And just on a side note, because I'm straying for a second,
go ahead,
but you ever notice when you watch the documentaries about things that have transpired with blacks that may have had a not so rough time, that may have had a rough time, you know, the Bobby Brown story, Whitney Houston, all that, we talking about that. It's always white people weighing in on black shit.
Giving the life story.
But when white people go through their shit, you don't see a black person weighing in on it.
Do you know why?
Tell them why.
Because we don't give a fuck.
We don't give a fuck.
So it's like, why y'all give a fuck about ours? We don't give a fuck. We be like, oh, go ahead with that bullshit, yo. Tell me about some other shit.
Right.
Because we don't give a fuck. But when you see comments like, you know, when Gabrielle Union spoke out, it didn't get the same reaction as if a white woman speaks out. Well, here comes the racism in Hollywood, y'all. And in this country. When a black woman says, we're being paid unfairly. When a black woman says it's not justice, it's not equality, it's not fair. You have other black women like Kim Whitley and Cheryl Underwood and our Asian sister on the talk saying, why don't Monique just be quiet? What if she's wrong? Oh, stop it. Oh, no. But when you have our white sisters...
But say it again. What if she's what?
Wrong. Let's assume she's wrong. Let's assume she's wrong. And now you have these other women of color saying, Monique, sit down and be humble.
Sit down.
Be humble, bitch.
Okay.
Sit down. Now, when you have our white sisters that stand up and say, we want to be paid like our men are being paid. And then the camera goes to our other sisters in the audience, and I believe it was Jennifer Lopez, and I want to say Meryl Streep, and they stand up and they give a standing ovation. And we stand up and we applaud that as well. But we don't stand up enough for us. Because when you have people that look like me, that do what I do, and they're saying, just sit down, just be quiet. That's why Hollywood has been able to get away with Hollywood has done for so long. That's why you can sexually harass somebody for 3 decades and nothing's done about it. Because you have women just like that says, sit down, be humble.
Be humble.
So as long as we're doing that, well, as long as this will exist, as long as this will exist. So there's so many battles going on right now in this place called Hollywood. It's sexism, it's racism, it's the money gap, y'all, that's so ridiculous.
And there's nobody there to police it.
Come on.
There's nobody there taking a look and saying, again, what I've said before, I like the fact that what people are doing or women are doing is imploring upon the men to be involved and speak up in reference to it. But as I've said before, as it pertains to that, because I've originally heard women who were white calling on the men to come out in reference to it. Because there's a level of vocalness that I haven't heard out of the majority of African American women for whatever reason. And it's almost because of the need for them to call on men to help them out, we have to, as people of color or black women, should look and say to their white counterparts who are women, well, could you help us too? The same way in which you want the men to speak up for you, could you, as women who happen to be white, who are getting more than we're getting, despite the fact that you understand that you're not getting what you're supposed to get, so what are we getting?
Come on.
So we've got to work together and have that real conversation.
And then that's when things, I believe, really start turning. And there's a feeling of there's a turn starting to happen. Mm-hmm. Because people are tired of being stepped on. People are tired of being kicked down. People are tired of being fucked over, fucked around, used. And then you look at them and say, well, that's the game. And I want to address something else because someone just asked me, what about Tiffany Haddish with the Golden Globes? Mm-hmm. Let me just say this. Tiffany Haddish, hands down, is one of the funniest sisters, funniest comedians that I've seen in the game. And she's putting it down. And when they say, well, how do you feel about her not being nominated for the Golden Globes Award? Listen, don't no check come with the Golden Globe Award.
Get it.
You can't go to goddamn Kroger. I've tried it with my statue, with my groceries.
When did you try to
I
do
didn't,
it?
Daddy, but it sound good.
But it sound good. Okay.
You can't put that shit on the table and say, oh, listen, can you get my groceries with this? So what I would say to my sweet sister Tiffany, baby, keep being funny. And and I know she not, but for us, don't get caught up in no award.
That's the key. Don't get caught up in the award. What you should be asking for that sister is, are y'all going to give her money? Are y'all going to give her money? Because all you got to do is go to your grandmama home. Go to your grandmama home. Mm. And what you're going to do is look up on the mantle at that old-ass bowling trophy.
Do it.
That they got. Mm. And you wondering why a piece of it is chipped, why it's broke, the hand with the ball in it don't exist no more. Mm-hmm. So you don't know what kind of trophy it is.
You don't know.
You don't know what kind of night it was. It was just a trophy. At the end of the day, the respect and the finances that trophy is supposed to garner you is going to dictate if you have the opportunity to create generational wealth for your family. And that's how we should be thinking about it, not the trophies and so forth and so on. Because, what history has proven is Da Vinci's paintings weren't worth near as much when he was alive as they were when he's dead.
Come on.
And oftentimes, the person who is the artist doesn't reap the benefits of their work in the way that the person who sells the artist's work does.
Come on.
And we got to pay attention to that.
Someone just said, speaking about our baby Tiffany, it's not so much about the award, it's the acknowledgement. Can I tell you, in my humble opinion, where the acknowledgement comes in? When you got folks walking up to you saying you did that shit. It was funny. When you see the numbers at the box office. When you say, you know what, I feel good about my performance. That's where the acknowledgement comes in. We get caught up oftentimes needing validation from others.
The acknowledgement comes in after you've done your work and you looked at what you got for doing your work.
Come on.
That's where the acknowledgement, because it comes a point where obviously you want to feel good about the work that you're doing. and that's going to come out in the way in which you executed that work. But you also want to be compensated correctly for it. And the business world that we live in, because it manipulates the media, it manipulates business news as we should get it. It creates false narratives as it pertains to how business strategy should be executed, which oftentimes lean in favor of the person who is the business owner, who oftentimes is not the creator or the generator of the real money. Because in Hollywood, if you have nobody to execute the art, well, guess what? You just have money and equipment. So how can you have somebody's brand name that made a lot, but they leave poor and you leave rich because you came up with the money? Because that's what Hollywood says. But not until enough people start having a conversation loudly enough to make some changes will changes be made. And that's what we're in the midst of right now. Changes being made.
We're talking about it, y'all. Sexual misconduct. We are discussing it. Is it a witch hunt or are they whistleblowers? And I think that it also covers so many. Violation covers a lot of grounds. Sexual harassment, bullying, racism, because a violation is a violation. And it covers a lot of grounds. And in this place, Hollywood, folks have been so afraid to say anything, especially people of color, because we just got a chance. We just got a chance. So if we just got a chance, don't fuck it up. Don't say nothing that's going to mess it up. Don't say nothing that's going to make them mad. I had people calling me during that award season. Saying, girl, show them that you appreciate them. Who the fuck am I showing that to?
Who?
Who am I showing? Show them that you're happy, but don't show them that you're too happy. Who the fuck is they?
Who
are y'all talking about?
Who?
And these were black people that called me up. It's almost a subliminal message. Look, the white people like you now, so don't you fuck it up. And that was disheartening because you're saying, but you are multimillionaire. You megastar. And this is the conversation you're having with me? So, again, we've got to investigate y'all all the way through and not just be willing to be fed the story right off the bat. Investigate it all the way through. Even when I had to come out and say, this is what happened to me. Not I had to, but I had to. I had to come out and say, this is what happened with me with my brother. I had to. Had my brother said, listen, what my sister is saying is true. And let me tell you why it is true. What he did was play the money game. And unfortunately, Oprah got caught up in the money game and they tried to play a hustle. But when you have people that says, like when you have CK that's saying, listen, I did that. And I owe them women an apology. And whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. I respect that. And do you hold him prisoner for the rest of his life? Well, life's going to do what it's going to do to him. But I respect what that man said. And when you look at the climate right now, and we talk about somebody saying, I fucked up, and I'm sorry. And what do I need to do to make it right? And then you still have people saying, burn his ass. He ain't shit for the rest of his life. So what happened to that thing called forgiveness? What happened to, you know what, we're humans, and we are capable of fucking up. And if you listening and you ain't never fucked up, then you listening to the wrong show. That's all I can tell you. But when you have people that says, I did mess up, and if it were you, would you want people to have mercy?
And everything is a case-by-case situation, which is why you have to hear each case out if you are in a position to decide on it, which leads us back to Brother Tavis, where if what he's saying is accurate and he doesn't know who accused them, what the event or situation is that they're speaking in reference to, well, I mean, hopefully it will be dealt with accordingly. But we don't want to get in a habit of just having these mass accusations in reference to individuals, and it doesn't have to be substantiated. All it has to be is said, because it's the reverse of what was being done before. Now the people who are being accused, the accusers can become bullies through their accusations in the manner in which the people who illustrated misconduct, you know, in the way in which they handled themselves were. You know, the Bill O'Reilly. It's no different. oftentimes, like when Republicans or Democrats in the office and they've been messing up, then now it's the prime time to switch to the other and switch to the other. Not realizing that no matter how you look at it, all you're going to get is people that have a certain label that's on them. But at some point, you're going to have to work through the problems, not just keep switching sides. And you can't speak in reference to how unfairly you've been treated as a person of color, and then if you get in a position of power, then begin to treat people poorly because of all the poor treatment that you've gotten, because now you're doing the same thing and it doesn't justify it. So when we start coming from a place of being fair,
yes,
and simply put, when you start treating people in the way in which you don't mind being treated, we working towards something. But until that time, that's the main issue. People want to be well off, and they find it a problem when you want to be well off and not on their watch.
Come on. We're talking about it, y'all. 404-832-2963. We are discussing sexual misconduct, witch hunt, or whistleblowers. And then you have to ask yourself, what is sexual misconduct? And are we get ready to step into the regular flirting between individuals? Where now a man or a woman don't know what to say. Can a man now say to you, you look really nice in that dress. It is really holding you beautifully. Can I then go to Human Resources and say, this man right here has sexually assaulted me? When a woman comes to the job and she's showing cleavage, well, you're showing it. And a man says, wow, that dress is hugging you in the right ways. Have you been sexually assaulted? Or if a woman says to a man, okay, I can see you've been working out real good. That body looking right. So it's almost like, are we going to a place of now we're even afraid to make eye contact?
Here's what's wild. Outside of the business, when Mike shares with me one of his classmates in school hugged a girl in his class, and the girl had no problem with it because it was just a hug, but the gym teacher did and reported it to the principal, and now he's got to go to the office potentially in reference to him hugging or touching inappropriately. Now, she's not upset about a hug
Right.
But then we're taking it too far.
Yes.
How far is too far in reference to it?
Cedric, the pastor, said, you can't say that dress is hugging you nicely. Well, let me ask you this, Pastor Ted, or Pastor Fred, I'm sorry. I know if I see a man and his biceps are looking good, I'll say, wow, I can really tell you've been working out.
That's a little different, though.
Or that shirt is fitting you really nice. Like Tonax has been really working out lately, and you can really see how he's gotten slim around the waist. His shit is fitting him it's fitting him really nice. And we all the team be like, all right then, we see what you're doing. All right then, you trying to get a six pack. What you working with? We talking about a sexual misconduct. Let's go to the lines. Hey, you're on with Monique and Syndey. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, boo, it's Nurse Nicole.
Hey, Nurse Nick.
Hey, Sid. Hey, Mo.
Hey. Talk to us.
Man, okay. Which kind or what?
Whistleblowers.
Or whistleblowers. Well, let me tell you the story of the maintenance worker and the nurse's aide.
Come on.
The maintenance worker made passes at the nurse's aide, but she didn't report it. I guess she liked it. They got sexually involved. The maintenance worker was married. When things didn't go her way, she went to HR and said he was sexually abusing her and misconduct and all kind of stuff. And that man lost his job and his family over a lie.
Wow.
So, it can go left like that. Mm-hmm. Like, the guy or female, can potentially be inappropriate. But these days, so many women, they just want a man in their bed so they can keep warm and whatever. They accept it. But when they go left, then they want to blame the man. Mm-hmm. Now, that's some shit that's unfair.
Talk about it.
You better say that.
Come on now.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
love you, Nurse Nick.
That's right.
Shit. Y'all hear that? Did y'all hear Nurse Nick? I want y'all to let it sink in for a minute. Yeah, because there's some of you listening right now that does that. There's some of you listening right now, and I know you chuckling to yourself like that bitch and hit me right on the nail.
Bam.
Where you knew what the situation was. Now when shit goes south, now all of a sudden you was harassed, you done fucked up the man's family and it's like y'all play it fair. And I think that sometimes there are women that have a problem with women saying this. But it's like that's real woman shit. That's real woman shit. If you know what the situation is, you know what it is. You men and women, you know what it was. But now after 6 months, you now think that, well, shit, I may have changed his mind. Or I may have changed her mind. Ain't no goddamn minds being changed. You know what it is. Now when it's all said and done, now you want to call and you want to go to HR and say, I was sexually harassed. Like, that's when, if it can be proven that you're lying, that's when the fuck you got to pay a penalty.
And you're going to pay a penalty. But,
Talk to
you
it,
know,
yes, you
we can't live in a world where the running joke you hear with men and women is Branford has a tendency of leaving the toilet seat up when I go to the bathroom, and he needs to put it down. But nobody considers the fact that Branford could easily say, well, your ass leaves the toilet seat down when I got to go pee. Now, how you going to call me? And I never complain when I got to lift the toilet seat up to pee. So why you complaining because you got to put the toilet seat down to pee?
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You can't be in the same, because it's the same work. You got to put it down, I got to put it up. Why I got to be the one?
Why?
To give in. Okay, why can you touch me and it's cool, but I touch you, it's not cool?
Come on.
Or we touch each other and it's cool, but now I got a woman and I can't kick it with you like that no more. Now it's a problem, it's a hassle, and we can't own what it is that we did. And that has a lot to do with the world we live in.
You know who I want to bring into this conversation right now? Because she one of the realest little sisters out there.
Kick it.
And yeah, you know why I dig it? Because she say just how the fuck she feel. And that's that young lady named Cardi B. Let me tell you something. I was watching an episode one time of Love and Goddamn Hip Hop.
Tell 'em about it.
And Cardi B was on there. And baby, this one girl thought that her man was going to be faithful to her. And she all heartbroken because she said Cardi B done fucked her man. Cardi B say, listen.
Tell her.
What makes you think you got special pussy? He can fuck nurse pussy, teacher pussy, singer pussy, rap pussy. He can have all the pussy he want, but you think you just got the special pussy.
Right.
And he only gonna fuck your pussy.
That's it.
Yes, I am fucking your man. I applauded that because I said, yes, baby. We ain't gonna play with it.
We ain't gonna play with it.
And it was so honest, and it was so real, and it was so, people could say she was tacky and all that. Say what you want, but that's some real shit. That's the realest shit that you can give.
And it's not a support or lack of support for the message that she was sending. Not judging the message. What we're looking at is the truth of what it was that she was saying. And oftentimes we live in a world that we are comfortable doing the truth, but we are afraid to speak about the truth that we've done. So when we start feeling comfortable about, you did it for a reason. You know, one thing, if you look at human nature, things are typically not done for no reason, even if the reason was just because I wanted to.
That's it.
What made you slap her? Nigga, I wanted to. I just wanted to slap the shit out of her. She was holding her mouth wrong, and that's it. Say it. Okay, now you know you're going to do time, but at least you was honest. Yeah, I don't know why I slapped the shit out of her. Okay, now we know that's going to go nice with your rap sheet. If you just stand right there and put your fingerprint in the ink, go ahead. But be truthful about what things are.
That's all. And if y'all notice, it keeps coming back to that. Being honest. Being honest. And for the ones who accuse, and it is 100% true and real, guess what? If don't nobody believe you, You know what it is, and they know what it is. For the ones that accuse and is full of shit and you lying, and everybody believes you, guess who knows what it really is? And that's the worst kind. Because you got to sleep with that.
You got to sleep with it.
You got to eat with that. You got to live with that. So always put yourself in a position of fairness.
And we've watched so far individuals like Matt Lauer who have sat there and interviewed individuals like old boy from Fox News, O'Reilly, and look at him and almost like, you know, what are you doing, only to be found out that that's what it is that he did, except his shit sounded more wild than Bill O'Reilly's.
Daddy.
That Matt Lauer.
I don't know if it's true or not true, but they were saying he was sending dick pictures.
Okay. Now
And
that
dicks in the mail.
ding-ding-a-ling out here.
I like it.
Matt Lowry. Okay?
No.
That Mike Lowry.
That's Mike Lowry.
Mike Lowry.
But that was
Ding-ding-a-ling.
Matt Lowry.
That's Matt Lowry out there.
Sending dick pictures.
Ding-ding-a-ling out here.
And he,
The button too.
And the button.
what button?
Under his desk to lock the door.
Yeah, he had a button under his desk to lock the door. He slept with a woman at her desk. He lifted or zipped her pants down, pulled her pants down, apparently picked a pepper, and put it in her.
No.
And she passed out on the table, fell out. His assistant had to help her go to the nurse's room. It's like, wait a minute. Ain't nobody know about that? Like, yeah, she passed out. He put it in and blacked out. Now, they didn't say why she blacked out. They just said that's what happened. Matt Lowry.
Okay, and
Apollo
y'all
legend.
please know that I am by no means not making fun of this woman.
No.
We gotta say it over and over and over again
Not her.
because people will take shit and run with it. By no means, but you gotta say how big was Matt Lauer's dick?
Okay, or how pressure
small.
filled, or how pressure filled was that situation where she just going black out.
Black out. And no one said anything. And now everyone wants to act like, well, we didn't know. We were shocked. We were surprised. And one thing my daddy always says, he says, Mama, what you support is what you'll succumb to when you know it's the wrong thing. When you know it's the wrong thing. And you had a lot of people that were very faithful and loyal to Mr. Harvey Weinstein. Mm-hmm. A lot of people. You see pictures of people kissing them on the cheek, hugging them. This our guy, this our girl. We love each other. Mm-hmm. And you mean to tell me you had no idea? When motherfuckers who had no idea about the business knew. But you in the business. And I mean in it, but you had no idea. For the love of money, people will steal from their brother.
That's where you come with it? I heard that.
People will lie to their mother.
Get it.
People will even run the streets for their green. Oh, green. That's what I felt, Daddy.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Keep on feeling. I was
that's
looking
fine.
at you and shit.
We talking about it. Discussing sexual misconduct, discussing misconduct. Period. Sexual, racial, all of it. Bullying, discussing misconduct. Witch hunt or whistleblowers? Which one is it?
Which one is it?
We're talking about it, baby. 404-832-2963. And are you that person, though, right now? Think about it. That has falsely accused someone. And you want to come clean. Are you that person right now that has put something out there on someone that has devastated their lives?
Or are you withholding some information about someone who is currently devastating the lives of people, but no one's come out on? Either or. Any way you look at it, it's not a good look. Because if they're still taking advantage of people and you're saying nothing.
Come on, baby. We're talking about it. Let's go to the lines. Hey, you're on with Monique and Syndey. Who's this and where you calling from?
This is Xavier calling from Houston, Texas.
Hey, baby. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And yourself and your husband?
Wonderful. Talk to us.
Super. Talk to us.
Well, I basically wanted to say that with this issue, I've been looking at it on the news, and I've been looking at all these things that have been taking place. And I think the issue needs to be taken care of swiftly and it has to be done right, because the most dangerous thing that could happen or that can transpire is this issue can turn into a fad, to where now you get it to where everyone is just stating, hey, I've been sexually assaulted. And I think the definition needs to be updated, or it needs to be looked at closer with a probe, because you can have, now you're taking away from the people, men and women, who have been sexually assaulted, and now you're getting it to the point to where the people who need to come forward, they're kind of looked at as being frowned. And as your husband stated earlier, once you give them that comfort zone and they're able to speak, one thing about being comfortable, you are either going to notice that the person is lying or they're going to be telling the truth. Because when you look at a person that's lying, it's always going to be holes in their story. But that comfort will be the mediator, or the thing that really lets you see what's taking place and who's really been sexually assaulted and who's just looking for attention, money, or fame.
Come on, baby.
That's what's up. Thank
We
you very
appreciate
much.
you, my love. You know, and let me say this too. Fame has gotten to a place I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people want it. And I'm willing to get it any kind of way I got to get it. And if that means I need to tell a lie, if that means I need to be quiet, I'll do whatever it takes to get the fame or to keep the fame. However I got to do it. Now, there are folks that's got to, again, you got to live in that. You got to live in that. But you got to say to yourself, well, what if it was my child? What if it was my daughter or my son? And in some cases, especially in a place called Hollywood, it's not like families didn't know. But because of that thing called fortune and fame, we're going to all just be quiet. I know it's devastating. I know you got to go to therapy. I know all of that. But do you see how we living? And for that, I'm going to need you to take that. I'm going to need you to take it and put it under your cover and never deal with it and never say nothing about it. And though we talk about fame and the money, shit, that happens when there's no money and no fame. It happened to my family. Say absolutely nothing. Let's just move on from it.
But that's the world that we live in. And when we work collectively together and kind of move to a place where, again, early in the conversation, we were discussing the reason why you were willing to tell the powers that be about what really happened with that case with the young lady, making it seem like the man had inappropriately touched her. And we say because Wright has been along a lot longer than we have, so I don't have to choose between you and this person. And I think when we start putting what we're about before the people that we're dealing with, that's what we should be following. So if you're about love, the color of the person is not really of any importance. The love of what you're following, that's what's important. If decency is what you're supporting, the fact that that person says something that is profane is not worse than a person who speaks eloquently with no profanity, but they steal from their community.
Come on.
As some pastors have been known to do.
Come on.
Okay? Not all, because pastors are just people. And people can be pastors, as we very well know. And we've seen people who are from police to popes to pastors and everything in between that have been good, but have not been or acted not so good. So when we're comfortable enough to start calling things for what they are and stop worrying about who it is that we're calling the things that they actually are, watch how things start to change.
Come on, baby. Let's go to the lines. Hey, you're on with Monique and Syndey. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, Auntie, Uncle, this is Israel. How you doing?
Good.
Why you talking so low?
I'm sorry. I just woke up. I went to bed at 6 this morning doing homework, and my clock is off. So I'm going to bed early in the morning and getting up late in the afternoon. But I jumped up. I said, oh, my God, what time is it? I said, oh, shit, my show. I need my drugs. So I had to call in because you guys have no other choice. But
I just wanted to say this topic is very close to my heart because I've been sexually violated, and when I was older, not even when I was younger, I'm not even talking about when I was molested. I'm talking about when I was older, and I didn't wait. As soon as I was free, I was able to run and tell the police what happened, but I was still stifled from any kind of justice because the person I was with was very abusive, and they made me drop the charges because they were, they didn't want to have it look bad for the rest of the people in that little town. And I was so angry and so hurt, and every day of my life since then, and that's since 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, ever since then, no matter what, every time I see shows about rape or sexual, harassment or any kind of violence, it hurts me and it angers me because I spoke up, but I didn't complete it, and it will forever haunt me. But I guess I have to just live with that.
Do you have any advice that you could give to individuals that are going through what you went through, but they're going through it right now in real time?
Are you referring to if they didn't speak up sooner, or if it happened just now to them?
Yes, if they didn't speak up sooner in the way in which they speak up.
I think that's a personal battle. And I think either you have to, well, it all depends on whether you want to get out of it. If you're doing it for notoriety, let it go. Because you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
We're just going to assume for the positive. We're going to assume for the positive that it was a situation like your situation from a standpoint where you obviously weren't looking for notoriety. You were just looking for the truth to be told. But in retrospect, it sounds like because someone talked you down, if you will, they didn't battle what you battled. They only heard what you battled. So some out there who have experienced what you experienced, it is very easy to feel as if you can talk somebody down from doing something that you have no emotional connection to because you weren't affected by it. So what would be your advice for those who in real time understand that they are affected by something that the individuals seem not to get, who are telling them not to speak up? And again, with the understanding, it's each person's own choice. But if you have any advice, love to hear it.
I think it all depends on how strong you are. If you're willing to bring up the topic and regurgitate what has happened to you in real time from what happened before time, and stand there no matter what happens, then by all means, fight that fight. But if you're not strong enough to do that, and you just want to let it go because you're tired of it, or because it has hurt you and swallowed you up enough, then I would say hug yourself from the inside out. And I would say just, not bite the bullet. And I'm going to be like some folks who say, oh, just pray for them. No, fuck that praying shit. I mean, I understand praying for somebody, but, some people don't deserve prayer. I'm sorry. God doesn't, I mean,
that's why we fucks with you. That's why.
I mean, seriously, if that was, I mean, I know it rains and shines on the good and the bad, but, the bad also get punished. And we can't let them get punished. If they're saying, yeah, but you gotta forgive them. No, the fuck, I ain't gotta forgive them. When Jesus Christ was in the wilderness and he was fasting, when he was through fasting, he looked for a tree that had fruit. The tree that was supposed to bear fruit was not bearing fruit. What did he do? He cursed it. He didn't say, oh, I forgive you, tree, baby. I'm gonna pray for you. No, the hell he didn't. He cursed that damn tree.
That's how you know Jesus was black. That's how you know he was black, man.
I don't believe that, we should all just, I'm going to pray for you because I know that you hurt me, but I know that, no, vengeance is his. I'm going to let him, I'm going to sit back here and wait for him to take care of your ass because I know he can do it better than me. But I don't have to forgive you. I don't have to.
That's right.
So I say to those who are weak and not weak, but tired and don't have the strength to fight that fight, you don't have to forgive them either. Don't feel bad or less of a Christian if you don't forgive them for the bullshit that they did to you in your life. You have to live with that.
And that right there, but that right there, baby, and I want y'all to hear that. And thank you, my sweet baby. We love you, Israel, but that right there where she says,
please.
don't put yourself in a place where you don't think you're a good person or a good Christian because you're saying, I don't forgive it. Just keep on going.
With the understanding that sometimes a level of resentment that you can carry on is like carrying shit with you. And sometimes we have to release what is on our stomach. You understand? Forgiving somebody else is not as much about forgiving them as much as it is healing yourself. And sometimes we have to be selfish enough to forgive others.
You're right, Daddy. And I don't know if this is an and, a but, or however. Sometimes you have to let it go.
Right.
When people say, well, can you forgive and forget? Yes, all of it. I've forgotten.
Well, you didn't necessarily forget, because to forget is to do yourself a disservice, because your memory is part of your defense mechanism.
Right.
But to forgive, again, is to understand why they did what they did. However, it doesn't mean that you will ever put yourself in a position again to be done like that by that individual. You might not ever do business, but I forgive you, which essentially means I've allowed myself to accept the fact that I was duped by this character. And because I'm going to accept the fact that I'm just a human being and I trust it, I'm going to let it go. But what you might say is, I'm not going to get tricked by this guy again. I'm not going to get tricked by this gal again, because I see how they operate and move forward. But again, that's for you more so than that's for them. But it appears to be that time again.
Daddy, it be going so fast. Dang, on. Well, y'all, my babies, we want to thank y'all for tuning in today. And this was a great conversation, and I really don't think it needs to stop. I think we really need to keep on having these conversations discussing sexual misconduct and what is it?
And what is it? And if it has been done to you, and or if you have been bullied and or are being bullied, sometimes we don't know if we're strong enough from the onset. And as the old saying goes, you can walk 1,000,000 miles, but it all starts with the first step. And sometimes we just have to take the first step, and when we do, we find out, if we keep stepping along, that we were strong enough when we got to the end of our journey and look back on it. And what better thing to strive for than something that you know is right when others are trying to impose what is wrong? That's the legion of what is that? Of friendship, badge of honor, Mickey Mouse, word of the day.
MIC.
See you real soon.
KEY.
Why? Because we don't even give a fuck.
Y'all, we want to thank y'all for tuning in today. We want to thank every ear, every heart, every mind, because you could have been doing something else. So we want to tell y'all, keep telling a friend and telling another friend and telling another friend, because these conversations are needed, wanted, and we love to have them. So like my daddy always says, the mind is like a parachute.
It is no good unless it's open.
We love y'all.
For free.
Mwah.